The bell rang, echoing through the nearly empty halls of Lincoln High School. While most students rushed home laughing in groups, Emily Carter walked alone, as always. Her shoes made soft taps against the tile floor as she headed out the side exit toward the rear parking lot, the one no one used much. She always chose the quietest path home. It made her feel safe, invisible. But that day, safety didn't exist. She hadn't walked 10 steps into the lot when she froze. They were waiting. Jenna, Chloe, and Maddie, the self-appointed queens of Lincoln High. Their glossy lips curled into mocking smiles. Emily's throat tightened. For the past year, these girls had turned her life into a daily nightmare. It started small, snickering when she read aloud in class, stealing her lunch, pushing notes into her locker that said things like, "Why do you even exist?" Emily tried to ignore it. Then came the rumors, cruel and untrue, that spread like wildfire. That she talked to herself. That her mom was in rehab. That her dad hit her. None of it was true. But the lies stuck. What hurt most was how no one ever stood up for her. Not even the teachers. That afternoon, she hoped they wouldn't notice her. No such luck. Well, look who we have here, Jenna said, stepping into her path like a snake slithering into the light. Little Miss Mute. Did you finally grow a spine? Emily clutched her backpack, her fingers trembling. Her heart pounded so loud she could barely hear. Her eyes scanned the lot. No teachers. No cameras. No escape. Chloe leaned in close, her breath hot with cruelty. You think you're better than us? Is that why you always walk around like some sad little nun? Emily didn't answer. Say something. Maddie snapped, shoving her hard. Emily stumbled but didn't fall. Not this time. What the bullies didn't know was that Emily had changed. She was still quiet, but she was no longer weak. After months of suffering in silence, her father had taken notice. He was a quiet man, a military veteran who never talked about his time overseas. One night, after seeing her come home in tears, he sat beside her and said, "If you won't tell the school, then let me teach you how to defend yourself." At first, she refused. She thought learning self-defense meant becoming like them, aggressive, mean, violent. But then one morning, she looked in the mirror and didn't recognize herself anymore. So she went to the gym. She trained in Krav Maga, intense, practical combat made for real-world threats. Her instructor, Raphael, a grizzled ex-Marine like her dad, didn't care about popularity or appearances. He only cared about heart. Quiet girls make the best fighters, he once told her. You listen. You observe. And when the time comes, you strike. Fast and true. Those words replayed in her mind now, as the girls closed in like vultures. Jenna grabbed her backpack, yanked it off, and tossed it to the ground. Oops, she said mockingly. Clumsy much? Something snapped inside Emily. But it wasn't fear. It was rage. Cold. Controlled. Focused. You wanted me to talk? Emily said softly, locking eyes with Jenna. Then she moved. Her hand grabbed Jenna's wrist mid-swing and twisted. Jenna screamed as her knees buckled. Maddie lunged next. Emily sidestepped, catching her by the arm and sweeping her legs. Maddie crashed hard against the asphalt. Chloe froze. The one who had always laughed the loudest was now too scared to move. Emily took a slow step forward, shoulders squared. I didn't want this. But you made me choose. Chloe stammered, her voice cracked. You're crazy. No, Emily replied calmly. I'm just done being your victim. The girls scrambled to their feet, bruised and humiliated, and ran. Emily stood alone in the silence, the fading sun casting long shadows across the lot. Her hands were still trembling, but not from fear. This time, it was adrenaline and power. She bent down, picked up her backpack, and slung it over her shoulder. Her shirt was a little torn. Her braid was coming undone. But she had never stood taller in her life. The next morning, school felt different. She still sat alone in homeroom, but heads turned when she entered. No more snickers. No more whispers. Even the teachers seemed to glance at her with a new sense of respect. Mr. Daniels, her literature teacher, gave her a quiet nod as he handed back her essay titled The Silent Warrior. And then, during lunch, a soft tap came on her shoulder. A girl, Lily, a freshman with nervous eyes, stood behind her holding a tray. "Can I sit with you?" she asked. I saw what happened. "You're amazing." Emily blinked, then smiled for the first time in what felt like forever. "Yeah," she said. "Of course." As the lunchroom buzzed on around them, Emily felt something warm and unfamiliar settle into her chest. She wasn't invisible anymore. She was seen. Not because she fought, but because she stood up for herself. And for once, she believed what Mr. Daniels had told her months ago. She did have a warrior's soul. Moral. It's not always the loudest voice that commands the most power. Sometimes, the quietest hearts carry the fiercest strength. When pushed too far, even the gentle can rise and change everything.